That white heat signal right there is 100% a fish. Got some good marks on the side imager. I mean,
yeah,
couple
we're
of them on it
fishing
right now.
We're fishing right over the boulders.
We are, and they're about 20 foot out, but they're sitting right on big rock.
Yeah.
They're right on the target. Oh, there we go.
Good
That's
fish.
a good
This
one,
is a big.
Al.
This is the kind
There you
we're
go.
looking. Here she comes. Here she comes. All right. All right. Oh. Oh, how sweet it is. Nothing is more fun than feeling that swing jig or a jig bite. I mean, all the years I've been doing this, I love it. It is my favorite way to catch these bass. Oh man, come on, come on, come on. Come on, baby. All right, come here, come here. That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one, huh? Getting started for our first spot. You know, kind of work them over a little bit. Good fish, really good fish. Whew. You know, I've been fortunate enough to make my living in the fishing industry pretty much my entire life. And one of my jobs these days is to keep tabs on what's happening in the fishing world. You know, what's new, what's exciting, what's trending. And then I pass it on to you through social media and on the Edge television series. Recently, in the past few years, there's been an explosion in the bass fishing world in the upper Midwest Great Lakes region. People are coming up there, they're finding out how good the bass fishing really is. And like whenever there's an opportunity like this, many manufacturers are taking advantage of it, like St. Croix with its 2 new rod series directed strictly toward bass, and boat manufacturers, electronics manufacturers, trolling manufacturers. People are talking about new things that create excitement, and that's one thing about the bass world. There's always something new. Today I'm fishing with Dan Johnson, who's got a really neat job. He's been with St. Croix, I think he said 18 years now. He's involved in product development and promotion, does most of their social media stuff. He gets to fish all over the country. And he loves bass, but he does crappie, he does fly fishing, you name it. Part of his job is to develop the right stuff that helps us all enjoy the sport more. And we've been up here the last few days doing some stuff for St. Croix's social media site. And naturally went out today to do a television show. And we want to share some things with you that are kind of exciting in the bass world, in hopes that maybe they'll help you put a few more fish in your boat this year. There he is. Oh, feels good.
Yeah, it does.
Look at it. No. Yeah, just a nice one. You know, up north in our part of the world, cranking for bass isn't quite as popular as it is in the reservoirs. Oh, come on, get in here. And for one, the main reason we got a lot of lakes that are weed lakes, not that you can't crank weeds, but bottom pounding like we're doing here. Yeah, you got yours?
Yep.
Oh, look at that rod. That looks like a donkey.
Oh, it's a good one.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
You know, to your point, you're right. And you know, in the south, we do a lot of crankbait fishing. We don't have the vegetation, generally speaking, and we have a lot more rock and so forth. But when you can do it up here, it's special, because they'll really load up on it in the summer, really even into the fall, for that matter. Hi, buddy. Al, if you could be so kind and grab me the needle nose. The thing about these glass rods is they get it. Look at that hook down in that tongue there, right?
I'm trading you. You were kind enough before, now it's your turn.
All right. Way too much fun. I'll tell you something else that a lot of people don't understand. is just flat out how good the fishing is up here in Minnesota. I mean, of all the places I've bass fished in the country, if I were to put day in and day out 3 to 4.5 pound fish in my boat in numbers, I would argue with anybody. I might lose an argument here or there, but I'll win most of them on putting this area, northern Minnesota, up against anything. You can put 20 pounds in the boat so fast up here, it'll make your head swim. And I think in the future, you're gonna see more and more things going on at higher levels and more exposure. But I'll tell you what, if you're a bass fisherman, you want to experience something special, open your tackle box up to clear water, do a million different things. There's nothing like it really in the country, in my opinion. There we go.
Got him.
Yep.
Fish after fish after fish.
Good times. And they say it's the dog days of summer. Is that what they call this?
That's cranking time.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty special. It is. It's a, and the thing about this part of the country, that we could literally, on this lake, be fishing 5 different patterns right now, at least, and catching fish. And that's concurrent with a lot of lakes up here across the state. Spring, summer, and fall. It's a very special place.
It's always fun when you got the camera going. You make a cast, you start talking to the camera, you set the hook, you land the fish and keep on talking. You know, our little secret of how good the bass fishing is in these northern states, and especially in our home state of Minnesota. Well, the word is getting out. You know, Bassmaster came to Mille Lacs and did a major event, and that's covered in a magazine, their website. Everybody's talking about that. That Major League Fishing came up to Grand Rapids, and they fished a series of lakes up there. They had the best first day weight they ever had. If I remember right, it was something like 88 pounds. You know, and these guys fish all over the world, and they were ecstatic about the kind of bass fishing they had here in Minnesota. Our little secret is getting exposed. But that's true in Wisconsin, in Michigan, all over the Great Lakes. There's some dynamite spots in the Dakotas that a lot of people don't even know exist in their fantastic bass fishing. The northern bass fishing story has arrived, and it's booming. You need to take advantage of it. Put some of your walleye rods away, put some of your musky rods away. Go start sampling a bass bite a little bit. There he is. Ooh, oh, I lost him. I missed him. There he is. There he's back again.
Big head?
That cat feels like a big head. I missed, what, 3 in there now? Look at this. Look what I got. You got yours?
We're doubled up.
Look at this. I got somebody's line. I'm telling you, we should be getting a big one off of here.
You know, you had your bait in the air, and I was thinking, should I, shouldn't I? I thought you might get bit. As soon as you got hooked up, I threw in there right behind you and tailpiped you, and here we go.
Nicer fish? Yeah,
not
there's a
bad
better
at
one.
all.
Better one?
You betcha. Matter of fact, come over here, buddy. Yeah, it's just an absolute blast. I mean, to think that we could be doing so many things, and we pull up on a spot, and you know, this is spot number 2, and it's like I'm a kid in a candy store thinking there's more spots to go to, and just doing this and having a blast, and then you pan around and look at where we are. And I tell you, those of you that can get up here, treat yourself, 'cause it's a really special place, and there's a lot of it. I mean, you can go, once you get north, what would you say, Al? Probably, how far up north and then east and west would be the best recommendation?
I would say the central part of the state around where I live in Brainerd, and Brainerd to Grand Rapids, some of the lakes in Otter Tail County, going up toward Park Rapids and Walker, even up to the Reamer area. There's, I don't know how many lakes are in here. I just talked about 1,000, 2,000 lakes, and the big lakes, the little lakes, all got bass in them. And they are definitely fun. That's why their popularity is growing everywhere. I know a lot of walleye fishermen that are starting to bass fish more than ever before. because how much fun it is.
You know, when we were driving over here, we were talking about one of the cool things. I've been coming up to northern Minnesota every year of my life, the first week of June, ever since I was diapers before I could. But what's so cool is you can have a lake, and then a mile away there's another one that could be a completely different pattern. And if you took that thing when we were in high school, can't remember what you call it, but it's got that center pin and it draws a circle around it. Tell you, if you did that within 20 miles around a good lake up here, you wouldn't even believe how many fisheries, number one, you can go to in a day and fish multiple patterns throughout that day and have an absolute blast. Come in at night, get up and do the same thing the next day. We can fish a week up here and not hit the same lake twice. Imagine that. How many places in the country can you say that? It's a pretty special place.
You know, with the interest in bass fishing up in the northern states, the folks at Lund came out with a bass boat. Yeah, you know, and this has been amazing to me. Just share a couple things with you that they did that were kind of unique. They gave you an option, either bench seating or pedestal seating. In this boat, we took pedestal seating and we put smooth moves in it. I got a bad back and it kind of cushions everything. I love the smooth moves, it's easy on me. And if you want to put people in the back, you could seat two people here and look at all the room you got in the boat. That's good. Yeah, you know, you've been bass fishing all over the country. What's your read?
I've been a glass boat guy my whole life, and my biggest criticism of aluminum boats for years, being a bass fisherman, especially at target, when we're in target situations, is I don't want my boat blowing around when I'm fishing, and specifically the bow. I cannot believe, I've been in this boat for 3 days now. Yesterday, it flat out blew. And this is the best aluminum bass boat for sitting down in the water than I've ever been in. I can't tell you how impressed I am about it. In addition to that, the whole shot, the dryness of the ride, we were idling around putting waypoints in. And even in mine, I get little those baby splashes that come over the side on you. This thing kicks them out sideways. The way it's laid out, the center rod storage, the live well location, really well thought out. I'm very impressed. Considering it's aluminum, I'm actually dumbfounded.
The folks at Lund did a heck of a job. It surpassed their expectation. The bass fishing world jumped on. Same thing with the muskie guys. Yeah, you know, in Lund's areas of influence, the muskie guys started looking at the layout and say, hey, I like this. So, you know, they're servicing that northern bass fishing explosion. Naturally, it'll sell anywhere there's people that fish bass. But it's just been really, really interesting. You know, technology-wise, I want to say just a little bit too about Humminbird. You know, they've been our partners for years. And what do they have that's really neat? AutoChart Live is on their units, and so many lakes like the one we're on is not mapped well. You can map it yourself. And the same accurate reading you see on the best charts that you could buy. AutoChart Live, and they got a thing called Smart Strike. And it patterns the bite for you. Whatever pattern you're on, an inside pocket, deep rocks, a weed line, a smallmouth bass, whatever it is, you punch that pattern in, and on a bigger body of water, it tells you, it highlights the spots on your map that are exactly patternable to where you just caught the fish. It's an amazing a little asset, and it's a lot smarter than I ever thought it would be. I'm impressed by it. All right, I think we're gonna try a spot lock here again. This looks like a perfect spot lock spot. I think we're sitting right on the end of it there.
Speaking of spot lock with a cable drive trolling motor, I'll tell you a little story. I was at the ICAST show this year in Orlando with St. Croix, and some of the Minn Kota guys pulled me out of the booth and went down, and I was looking at the new Ultrex. Because I'm gonna get a new boat rig next year. And it's funny because they're sitting there trying to sell me, you know, like all of us sales guys do, and I'm standing up there. They had one mounted on a bass boat with the prop in the tank, and I'm looking at everything a trolling motor, cable driven, has been missing over the years, from not building up to speed when you put a constant speed on, to being too hard to push and ergonomically wrong for your foot, too hard to lift and put down into the water, no spot lock, all these things. And I'm thinking, okay, check, 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 over again, and they're sitting there trying to throw these features at me, and I'm like, gentlemen, I think I've been sold for about 10 minutes here. There is no doubt in my mind. I know it won Best of Show at ICAST for the overall product. There's no question in my mind the bass guys, Al, are gonna go crazy about this new trolling motor.
You know, we had an opportunity a year before it came to market. Jimmy, Jeremy, and I had it under secret. We couldn't show it to anybody. We fished it for 2 months. Yeah, you know, and we were shocked at the features that they built into this thing.
One of the most important features of the Minn Kota Ultrax is spot lock, the electric anchor. We use this in a wide range of fishing situations. For example, as soon as we hook a fish, we immediately hit the spot lock button on the foot control. This simply locks the boat in its current position as we fight, land, unhook, and release a fish, no matter what the wind, current, or this is the big one, depth is. It's absolutely amazing for any situation where you want to hold the boat in a fixed position and make repetitive casts to a specific area, especially when you're way too deep for a talon. This hybrid electric and cable drive troll motor is a game changer for all fishermen. It's truly the best of both worlds.
I mean, this is anybody that had fished cable drive and is a hardcore bass fisherman, this is a dream come true for us. Oh, here's a good one, or a better one. Yeah, I thought it was a good one. Not a bad one. Not a bad one. No giant, but. You know, when you were designing the Bass X series, what was the purpose? What was in your mind for Croy when you designed this series of rods?
We've had the manufacturing and technology in our line for a long time, and one of the biggest challenges, especially in regards to getting high school, college kids, people getting into the sport, connected to our brand was sometimes a price obstacle. You know, we were 15 and working part-time jobs and going to school and not having much, and we get that, and Bass X is a price point. It's around that $100 price point, a rod people can afford, but it has amazing workmanship and manufacturing in it, where I've had a chance to fish these pretty hardcore in the last couple days and very impressed. And what's exciting to me is to get more people into the St. Croix family with a rod that's affordable but fishes like it does.
How many different powers and actions are in this series?
Yeah, there's 14 models, 10 casting and 4 spinning. But what's really cool, St. Croix is using a carbon fiber material called SC2, which is a material that really overperforms. It's lightweight, it's durable, we can do a lot with it. But if you look at Bass X, you have extra fast tips, you have fast actions and different deflections that we can put into our rods to make them really dialed in for almost every application you can imagine. That's what's exciting. This material is so versatile that when St. Croix uses its manufacturing technologies, we can really build things that probably more dialed in at a $100 rod that's ever been done, Alan. That's what's exciting to me.
Oh, there he is. Good one. I think that's a good one. Let's see, she's coming up. Nope, just a medium one again. I'm getting numbers on that crankbait. Yeah, you know, and I'll tell you, and I throw this long enough, we're gonna get a big gal off of here. I know that. Oh, come on, baby. This rod is really something. Really something. I mean, you feel everything in it, everything. What the bait is doing all the time. You said the new Legend glass has the technology in it is a little bit different?
It's a good point. Fiberglass, oh, there I got one on a jig. Well, I just started talking about a crankbait rod. That hinge jig is special, man. I tell you, I've been coming up here a long time and I'm learning from the master. As we speak, long distance release. Good stuff. Hey, it's a good point you brought up about that fiberglass crankbait rod. Fiberglass bass crankbait fishing's been around forever, like we all know, but what St. Croix's done is they've taken a very old idea and incorporated new technology, and it's really multifold. We got another one on up front.
It feels like a good one.
You got a good one. I'll keep talking.
You got to give me a minute to land this one.
I'll give you a minute to land that one. To be continued.
To be continued. This one, I got a little bit better one here. It's coming up again. She's coming up again. Look at her. She came up. Look, nice fish. Look at that. Oh, she threw the bait.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah, but I know you've seen it. You seen that fish? That was about a 3.5, 3 3/4, pretty nice fish.
Old idea, fiberglass bass crankbait fishing. By new technology, it's really multifold what St. Croix's done. First of all, and most importantly in my opinion, in the manufacturing process, St. Croix uses a proprietary technology called IPC, or integrated polycurve, and I'd like to have you check out our website, stcroixrods.com, on that, 'cause it's been a game changer in carbon fiber rods for us for years. But what it does, it involves the mandrel, which is kind of the foundation of a house. It's where manufacturing with fishing rods begins, and it's the only one like it built in the world. And it allows us to build rods that are lighter with definitely better actions. And when we're talking about crankbait rods, to Al's point, finally, there's a glass rod where you can feel the bait, you feel the cadence in the bait. Most importantly, you feel it when it goes out of cadence, pick up a string of grass on the tail hook or whatever. There's a lot of advantages. It's not just, we're not doing it just to say we can, we're doing it because there's a reason behind it. Secondly, Legend Glass has what's called linear S-glass, which the fiber runs unidirectionally all across the rod. There's no mesh to it. So you're getting a purer, more sensitive, lighter crankbait rod, arguably that's ever been built in the world.
Got him. Not sure, Dan. She's pounding, she's pounding. It don't feel like a real big one, but she ain't a bad one. Oh yeah, nice one. Yeah. They're staged up there, ain't they?
They sure are. They're loaded on this point.
There's something about crankbait fishing. You know, there's certain families of baits, styles of baits that fish like, really like. And, you know, obviously, cranking is one of them. Hang on. I don't want to get you. Ugh. I didn't bring a net with me. Cranking's been around a lot of years, and you know, even the bait style, you know, we got the design rods that you guys come out with is different. Now the baits, you got pliers back there, man?
Yeah, let me run up and grab some, and what else I'm gonna do? Yeah. I'm gonna do spot lock on a cable drive trolling motor. Imagine that.
Boy, where did Jimmy put his plier? All right, I got this, I got so many hooks in this sucker. There. Oh, come on, get it off your nose, huh? Pretty good fish. Yeah, like I was just saying, we got new rod designs and some of the newer crankbaits. This is new from Rapala, one of our partners. Look at the color combination that they added in this craw pattern. Yeah, you know, and at times the craws shed different, and they have different colors in a lot of bodies of water, and they pick the hottest shedding colors. And this is the new one on the block, and it's been really productive.
And how many times are we putting a crankbait on, having to tweak it and do this and that? The one thing I love about the Rapala baits, they're just dead true, out of the box. I mean, I can't remember the last time I've thrown a DT and had it track.
And that's one of their claims to fame. They always work. You got a spot like right on that tip, right where you just threw. I think you're going to get a bite. We talked a little bit about the St. Croix rod, and I talked a little bit about the bait I'm cranking with. The line is 10-pound test, Suffix fluorocarbon, and I'm fishing a 5.5 Daiwa Tatula. And for cranking with this rod, you put that on a Legend Glass, and you're in business. That Tatula is a bread and butter reel for a lot of the touring bass pros. And in cranking like this, you put a 5. This, like I said, this is a 5.5 gear ratio. It matches up perfect. Really is a heck of a combination, man.
It's funny, you talk about different lines, and I agree wholeheartedly with the line you just talked about. When you look at Legend Glass, one thing we did, and one of the reasons you can fish so many different lines, from polyethylenes to fluoros to copolymers to monos, is because Fuji has a concept K-guide that's a sloped frame. It's called a tangle-free frame. So when we're out here in the wind like this, Al has this boat position where we're throwing crosswind. And there's times with certain lines where you can get that line wrapped around that foot if it's at a 90. So the fact that guide frame is sloped forward, any tangle behind that frame is going to go right over it, which is awesome. It's nice to have that kind of insurance policy where you can just run and gun and wheel all day long and not deal with a mechanical issue.
It truly is an amazingly comfortable outfit. This really fishes good, man. I haven't thrown the what's the other one, 711 for the big crankbaits?
Yeah, they run from 610 to 711. They vary in power from medium to heavy, but they're all the same action. And what I mean by that, this would be an interesting thing to explain, and I'll show it on glass. Power and action is commonly misunderstood. I think any good rod needs both, not one or the other. Power is how much duress or load it takes to load the entire blank. Action, where that is where the rod bends in accordance to the tip, or where does the rod bend along the blank. For example, this crankbait I'm throwing is a medium power with a moderate action. That means it takes, in layman's terms, kind of a medium amount of load to duress the rod, but the action, moderate means it's going to bend more down into the blank, which is perfect for crankbait fishing because they can get that bait better. So to Al's point, the longer one is a heavy moderate. So it's a heavy power, but it's going to have a moderate action. So big 20 plus deep diving crankbaits, right down the middle for it. It's perfect.
I seen one good sized fish that came over. It could be a pike, it could be a bass. I don't know. I'm gonna come back around this back corner here. Ooh, 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 oh, oh. No. Our sport is really growing in this bass area. A lot of that has to do with the young people getting into it. And not only at the college level, now at the high school level. And in my hometown of Minnesota, the guys at the Brainerd High School, I'm really proud of them. They've been smoking them this year, these young guys. And that bodes well for our sport. And it's the interest and the abundance of bass that is causing that to happen. These guys, they like the bass bite, the excitement of bass fishing, the challenge, the variety of baits, which is always fun. There's always something new coming on in the bass world. That's a lot of the reasons why that segment of our sport is so popular these days and growing. And up in these northern regions, we got a lot of bass to play with.
You talk about youth getting into the sport. The future of our industry and all of that is all good. But what I would say, and Al, I'm sure you would attest to this, when I started bass fishing, I really, short of a magazine here or there, or trying to get into tournaments when I was young, I had to, I would say, almost learn everything on my own. And right now, there's never been a better opportunity for those of you young people watching this show today, ever, to get into this sport. There's so much information on social media, on Facebook. There's information all over the place. Your learning curve, getting into bass fishing, so much faster now than it has ever been, that it's a really exciting time for you. Some ways I almost wish I could hit pause rewind and go back, because I could catch up to this guy a lot quicker, you know what I'm saying? So, no, it's a really exciting time for those of you that are young, that are getting into the sport. I urge you to do it. It's not going to take as long as you think. There's a learning curve to everything, but it's a great, great time for you to get on board.
Yeah, a little bit better. A little more muscle there.
Come out of the water.
A little more muscle. Yeah. For $100 rod on this Bass X, you guys have done a heck of a job with this thing. I mean, it's got everything you need. Now, I'm fortunate enough to fish, all of the St. Croix product lines, at every price point. And there is reasons for a $200 rod, a $300 rod, a $400 rod. There's things that make them worth that money. But for an entry level, what I'm seeing on this Bass X, you got a home run on this one.
Al, to that point, talking about Bass X, one thing that's been so fascinating working for St. Croix is, and the one thing I really try to explain to people, the message I'm trying to get out, is one of the biggest differences between what we're doing and what some other people are doing is the fact we're so vertical, and having control over what you can do throughout the entire manufacturing process is paramount to the finished product. And when Al is talking about Bass X, we're talking about laser alignments, pressure rolling materials, proper temperatures and curing. We're talking about resins and handle assembly that are hundreds of dollars a gallon. St. Croix holds nothing back from high end all the way down to the entry level. And as evidenced by the way this rod is fishing, I think we're both really a little surprised. When you look at the price point, how light it is in your hands and how sensitive it is, a lot of it, I've been through our factory so many times, we actually welcome factory tours now. If you hit stcroixrods.com, you can set up a factory tour and see how rods are built. We have the largest USA rod manufacturing facility in the country, and it's really a cool tour.
You know, in the world of bass fishing, new stuff comes out all the time. And when it comes to baits, a lot of times the simplest thing, like the swing head, you know, it's something those fish haven't seen. The action is just slightly different. Or these crawfish color patterns on the DT we're throwing. You know, something a little bit different, size, shape, color, action. And in the bass world, you want to be one of the first ones to get on that thing. When you hear enough about it from enough people, you know, it's time you get a few of them, get in on the action, because there's something to it. And before those fish get conditioned to it, unfortunately, that does happen because of how fast the word travels today in bass fishing circles. Before you could get a secret bait and hold it for 5, 6, 7 years. Ain't that way now. If you get 2 years on it, you're doing something, man.
You know, I am in the middle of doing a podcast out of Chicago. St. Croix sponsors it. It's for the American Sports Fishing Association, ASA. And I was asked on it a couple episodes ago about are bass pretty much bass all over the country? In other words, can you go around and can you catch them doing pretty much the same thing all over the place? And I tell you, as evidenced by today in this hinge jig, I have never done this before. And watching Al do this and kind of learning on the fly here how to fish this thing, it's proof to the fact that every fishery, regardless where you are, has its own nuance. And sometimes it's small, sometimes it's significant, but there's little things that you can learn from people on a local level, and different things that you can pick up. And really, it's the most fun part of bass fishing to me. Everywhere I go that's different, I'm always learning something. And you're never there. It's a constant quest to improve, and it's really cool. Seeing this VMC hinge jig today has been a big time eye-opener for me. There we go. Come on.
There you go.
Oh, it's a big hit. Oh.
Nice one, nice one.
You know, it's amazing. It's sometimes I think, I'll bet you I threw 10 times on that spot, and you wonder whether that fish moved in, whether it's been sitting there, whether I had to hit it in the face, you know, who knows, but that's the fun of it. But you do not like that hinge head in your face, do you, buddy, huh? That's just cool. Got it right where he wanted to get it to. Pretty neat.
That's a healthy one.
Gorgeous little fish, you betcha.
The swing jig is really something. You know, it's amazing to me how fish bite that different than a fixed head. And sometimes that VMC swing jig like that with some kind of creature bait on the back is really all you need. It gets strikes when a fixed head sometimes don't. You're gonna say why? I don't know why. All I know is I've seen it happen ever since this style of jig came on the market. There's something about it a lot of times, especially when you're not in weeds. Yeah, you know, when you're on rock and gravel, hard bottom, there's something about it that those fish like, absolutely like.
Yep. Come on, goose.
A little better. Oh! Double? Look at this. I got a good one. Here she comes, here she comes, here she comes.
You got a real big one, Al.
Oh man, look at that. Oh, that's two good fish.
You believe that?
Look at this, look at the size of this pucky.
How
That's
cool
what we've
is
been
that?
fishing for. Woo!
How
You put
cool.
that other bait on there, huh?
Yeah.
I love it, love it. I dumped one of them bigger ones just a second ago, And this one, come here, you old, oh, look at that baby. Ah. Okay.
That's pretty cool, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Huh?
Woo.
Little double action.
Look at that one. Whew.
Look at that.
You
thing.
told me that wasn't a bad fish. It's just that this one was a good one.
Nice work.
Oh,
That's
man.
cool. Look at that.
Look at that. Woo.
That's a
I
beauty.
love when a plan comes together. What do you
Absolutely.
think?
That was
Huh?
pretty good stuff.
Oh, good stuff. This is what bass fishing is up in the North Country. And word is starting to get out on all our little secret spots.
Maybe unfortunately, huh?
Unfortunately. Hey, you live down south and it's 120 degrees in the summer and you don't like night fishing, you need a change of pace, hook up your boat, head up to the upper Midwest, Great Lakes regions, and take advantage of the phenomenal bass fishing that we have up here. You can't go wrong.